Imagine waking up every morning to the comforting aroma of your favorite coffee, brewed by the man you've loved for decades, only to discover he's been lacing it with poison for months. Why? Because at 55, he's ready to replace you with his mistress. I woke to the familiar scent of roasted coffee beans drifting through our cozy Seattle home. At 53, I cherished these quiet mornings, the hum of the espresso machine, the soft clinks of my husband, Tom, preparing my daily brew. For 27 years, we'd built a life together. 2 kids, Emily and Jake, now in college, a craftsman-style house in Capitol Hill, and a rhythm that felt unbreakable. I'm a part-time librarian, always lost in mystery novels, and I loved our routine. Tom, a mid-level exec at a tech firm, always made my coffee. It was his thing, a small act of devotion. "Morning, hun," Tom called, sliding a steaming mug across the kitchen island. His graying hair caught the morning light, his smile warm, but a bit distracted. "Extra cream, just how you like it." I sipped, savoring the rich, slightly bitter taste. "You're a saint, Tom." But lately something was off. My stomach churned after my coffee, and I'd been dizzy, blaming it on menopause or stress. I brushed it aside, trusting the man who'd vowed to love me forever. 2 months ago, I noticed Tom's late nights at the office. He'd always been ambitious, but now he was cagey about his phone, locking it with a new passcode. "Work stuff," he'd mutter when I asked. I didn't press. Trust was our foundation. But the dizziness got worse, and my hands trembled during my library shifts. One afternoon, I dropped a stack of books in front of a patron, an older woman who frowned with concern. "You okay, dear? You look like you've seen a ghost." I laughed it off. But my best friend, Claire, a nurse, wasn't so easily dismissed. Over lunch at a downtown cafe, she leaned across the table, her eyes narrowing. "Laura, you look pale. Could be low blood sugar or something worse. Get a blood panel." I nodded, but my mind was elsewhere. I'd found a receipt in Tom's jacket for a $200 dinner at Canlas, a swanky restaurant we hadn't visited in years. When I asked, he claimed it was a client meeting, but his eyes didn't meet mine. That night I lay awake staring at the ceiling fan spinning lazily above our bed. Tom slept soundly beside me, his breathing steady, while my heart raced with doubt. I slipped downstairs, grabbed his phone, and tried our anniversary passcode. It didn't work. My chest tightened, but I told myself I was paranoid. The next morning's coffee tasted metallic, like pennies left in the rain. I poured it out, blaming a bad batch, but a seed of suspicion took root yet. One evening, I followed Tom. It was impulsive, reckless even. He said he was meeting colleagues for drinks, but I drove to the bar he'd mentioned, parking across the street. Through the fogged-up window, I saw him with a woman, mid-30s, blonde, polished, laughing as she touched his arm. My hands gripped the steering wheel, nails digging into my palms. I didn't confront him. I drove home, my mind spinning with questions I wasn't ready to ask. The truth hit me on a rainy Tuesday. I came home early from the library, my umbrella dripping, as I stepped into the foyer. Tom's car was in the driveway. Odd, since he was supposed to be at a conference in Portland. I heard voices from the living room, a woman's laugh, low and intimate. My heart pounded as I crept closer, peering around the corner. Tom sat on the couch with her, the woman from the bar. She wore a red dress that screamed money, her hand resting on his knee. "I can't wait much longer, Tom," she said, her voice sharp. "You said she'd be gone by now." "Soon, Vanessa," Tom replied, his tone cold, unfamiliar. "It's working. She's weaker every day." My knees buckled. I backed away, slipping out before they noticed. In my car, rain hammering the windshield, I hyperventilated, piecing it together. The coffee, my symptoms, Tom's distance. He wasn't just cheating, he was trying to kill me. I didn't confront him. I needed proof, and I needed to survive them. I stopped drinking his coffee, claiming I was cutting back on caffeine. Trying to be healthier, I told him, watching his jaw tighten, his eyes flicker with something dark. I bought my own beans, hid them in a locked drawer in my office, and brewed my coffee at work. savoring the taste of safety. I visited a doctor requesting a toxicology screen. Waiting for the results was agony. I spent nights in the guest room, claiming insomnia, but really, I couldn't bear sleeping beside him. The results came a week later. Trace amounts of antifreeze in my system, a slow poison that mimicked natural decline. "You're lucky you caught this early," the doctor said, her voice grave. "Any longer, and your organs could have shut down." My rage simmered, but I played the dutiful wife. I installed a hidden camera in the kitchen, disguised as a smoke detector. It captured Tom pouring a clear liquid from a small vial into my mug, his movements deliberate, practiced. The grainy footage was my lifeline. I backed it up on a USB drive and gave a copy to Claire, who watched it with wide, horrified eyes. "Why not go to the police now?" she asked, gripping my hand. "I want him to think he's winning," I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. "I need to know how far he'll go." I dug into Vanessa's life, hacking into Tom's email with a password I'd guessed, our dog's name from years ago. She was Vanessa Carter, a co-worker, a rising star at his firm, single, ambitious. Her Instagram was public, trips to Napa, cryptic posts about new beginnings. Tom was tagged in a few, his face cropped but recognizable. They'd been together at least 6 months. One photo showed them at a rooftop bar, her head on his shoulder. Captioned, "The future looks bright." My stomach churned, but I saved the evidence. I started noticing other signs. Tom began pushing me to update our will, claiming it was practical. He suggested a new life insurance policy, his tone too casual. At a dinner party with neighbors, he made an offhand comment about my fragile health, and I caught Vanessa's name in a hushed phone call he took in the garage. Each clue was a dagger, but I kept my facade, smiling as I served him dinner, my hands steady despite the urge to scream. My plan took shape one sleepless night. I invited Vanessa to the house, pretending it was a work event Tom was hosting. I spent hours setting the scene. Candles, a tray of appetizers, a bottle of wine chilling in the fridge. When she arrived, expecting a crowd, she found only me, pouring tea in the dining room, the air thick with tension. "Tom's running late," I said, my voice calm, as I gestured to a chair. "But we need to talk." Her smile faltered, her designer handbag slipping slightly in her grip. "About what?" I slid a tablet across the table, pressing play. Her face drained of color as the kitchen footage looped. Tom pouring poison, stirring it into my coffee with the same spoon he used for his oatmeal. "He's been poisoning me," I said, locking eyes with her, "to clear the way for you." "Did you know?" she stammered, her manicured nails digging into the tablecloth. I didn't. He said you were sick, that you'd pass soon. I thought it was natural." I leaned forward, my voice low. "You're either lying or you're a fool. Either way, you're part of this. I'm giving you one chance to make it right." Her eyes darted to the door, but my words pinned her in place. "Run, and I go to the police with everything, including your text to Tom." "Hurry up" isn't subtle. I'd found the messages in his email, forwarded to a burner account. Sloppy. She broke, tears smearing her mascara. "I didn't want this. He promised we'd be together, that it was clean." "I'm sorry." "Prove it," I said. "Help me end this, Seth." My plan was risky, but precise. Vanessa, desperate to avoid jail, agreed to lure Tom into a confession. I coached her in a dingy motel room, scripting every word, testing her resolve. She was terrified, but fear made her compliant. We staged a meeting at a quiet park, wired her with a recorder hidden in her scarf, and waited. I sat in my car, a thermos of tea in hand, listening through an earpiece as joggers passed by. Oblivious, Tom arrived, tense but eager, his coat collar turned up against the drizzle. "Is it done?" he asked, glancing around. "She's getting worse," Vanessa lied, her voice shaky but convincing. "But Tom, I'm scared. What if someone finds out about the stuff you're using?" "No one will," he snapped, his voice sharp as a blade. "It's untraceable. A few more weeks and she's gone. Then it's just us." My heart shattered, not from love lost, but from the depth of his betrayal. I had my confession, but I let the recorder run, capturing his casual cruelty. "She's been a good wife," he said, almost wistful. "But I deserve more. You're my future, Ness." I drove home, the recording burning a hole in my pocket. That night I called the police, handing over the recording, the footage, my medical records, and a detailed timeline I'd typed up in secret. Detectives arrested Tom at his office the next morning, his face pale as they cuffed him in front of his stunned colleagues. Vanessa, granted immunity for her cooperation, vanished from Seattle, her career and reputation in ruins. I heard she moved to Chicago, starting over as a nobody. I faced Tom one last time at the station, separated by glass. He looked smaller, his suit rumpled, his eyes avoiding mine. "Why?" I asked, my voice breaking despite my resolve. He muttered, "I wanted a new life. You were in the way." I walked out, head high, vowing never to let the trust blind me again. The house felt like a mausoleum, every corner tainted by his betrayal. I sold it, pocketing a tidy sum, and moved to a sunny condo in Portland with a view of the Willamette River. I started therapy, unpacking decades of love and lies. Coffee, once my comfort, was a memory. I drank tea now, brewing it myself, the ritual grounding me. Months later, I stood in my new home, sunlight streaming through the windows. I joined a book club where I debated plot twists with strangers who became friends. I reconnected with Emily and Jake, who were furious at their father, but proud of me. I started a blog about surviving betrayal, pouring my heart into posts that resonated with thousands. Readers called me brave, a survivor, and I began to believe it. Tom's trial was swift. He pleaded guilty to attempted murder, sentenced to 15 years. I didn't attend, but Claire sent me updates, her texts a mix of outrage and relief. I was too busy living, taking pottery classes, hiking the trails around Portland, even flirting with a kind-eyed barista who complimented my smile.
If you enjoyed my story about betrayal, survival, and fighting to reclaim my life, give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Share your thoughts in the comments below and let me know what you think. Your support inspires me to share more.